Hello developers, welcome to the channel. Today we'll be making a fully functional sidebar using React and React routes. So let's get into it. In the last lesson we created all the routes and all the required screen that we'll be having inside our project. In this lesson we'll go forward and create the sidebar for the project. So first of all we require a black background for our website. So I'll go into the index.css and I'll give a background color of black. So you can check the background color is now black. Then inside our home component, we'll wrap all these routes inside a div, which will be our main div that will contain the whole site. Now to style our main div, we'll give it a class name, main body. And to style this, we'll have to create a CSS file inside this home folder. So I'll go here and create a home.css file. And to make it work, I'll have to import it too. So I'll quickly import it. So here I'll target the main body class and give it a height of 100 VW. VW is the viewport width, so it takes the entire width available of the viewport. Then I'll give a width of 100 VW. Sorry, it should be VH, viewport height, and this would be viewport width. Now I'll also give it a background color so you can see what color we have. So I've copied the color. This will be the background color, and we'll give it a border radius of 30 pixels. Let's see how it looks. So this is what we got. Next we'll be adding the sidebar and an empty container for all the screens to go in. So let's go. We'll go into the components and create a new folder called sidebar, and we'll create this index.js and CSS file inside our sidebar component. Go into the index rfc, it's in snippet, and call this sidebar. We'll also import our CSS file. Okay. So we'll give the main div of the CSS a class name called sidebar container. CSS sidebar container. We'll give it a width of 100 pixels. This will be fixed, and a height of 100%. So we'll go and add this inside our home component. Inside the main body, as the sidebar won't be changing with any route, it will remain there every time. So we'll be adding it above the routes, inside the router, so that it can access the route but above the routes. Add it here. So now you can see a sidebar is added on the side. Okay, so now, as you know, all the screens will be sharing the same container to the right side. So we'll go to the shared folder and create a file here. We'll go to the shared folder and create a file called global styles.css. We'll import this file inside our index.css. To import a file, we'll just write add import, and we'll go by shared / global styles. Okay. Now inside our global styles, we'll make a CSS class called screen container. inside our screen container, we'll give it a width of, so since our width is not, we cannot keep it 100% as it is 100 pixel, 100% minus 100 pixel, which is the sidebar's width. So we'll give it a height. So how we do that is we calculate 100 minus 100 pixels. Okay. Now, since we have this, and the height would be also 100%. The height just 100%. We'll also give it a background color so that we can see what it looks like. So I've copied this. This will be the background color for all the screens. Okay, and also it will have a border radius of 30 pixels. Now let's go and add it inside our. So the home route was pointing to library.js. So we'll go here and give it a class name of screen container. Now let's check. It's not coming up. Let's see what's happening here. So if we go into our home.js, we can see that we have added the sidebar, and under that we are adding the screens. So this will come above it. Okay. So tackle this and make this side by side. We'll have to go to the home.css and give the display property to be flex, so that they are in line. Okay. Now if we go and see, as you can see, both the components are side by side now. Check. This is the sidebar and this is the library screen. Now since we have the basic structure ready, so now we'll start by creating a sidebar component. So at the very top of our sidebar, we'll have a profile image. For now, we'll be using any image. For later, we'll be adding a proper profile picture from our Spotify account. I'll open this to the right. Okay, so first of all, there will be an image. So I'll add an image tag. The source will be, I've copied it from the internet. So you can use any image for now. And we'll give it a class name called profile image. And then all text. If it gives a warning if you don't provide an all text, so I would suggest that you always give an all text, so that when it's not rendered, it displays and the person knows what is coming here. So you can add profile here. Now we'll go here and target this class name profile image. We'll give it a width of 50 pixel and a height of 50 pixel, because most profile pictures are square, so it will be the same for them, and a border radius of 10 pixels. This is what is coming right now. So we want all our icons and all our images to be aligned to the center of this div, of this sidebar. So to do that, we'll have to give a property called align items center. But for align items center to work, we'll have to first make this container a flex. So we'll also do display flex. So the default value of a flex container is row. So all the icons and elements that I'll add, they'll be coming as a row. So the next thing I'll add, it will come after this. So, but we want it to come under this. So we'll set the flex direction. There's a property called flex direction. The flex direction to column. Now, you can see the image is centered, and anything that we'll add after this will come under this. Okay. Okay, I'll quickly make this at 20. You can move a bit more around. Okay, it looks good. Then the next would be a div that will contain all our sidebar buttons. So I'll create another component called sidebar button, and we go here and create the same. So inside the sidebar only, we'll create another file called sidebar button.js and a CSS file for that. Inside the sidebar button, close this. Set the sidebar button RFC to make a new component. Capitalize the first letter. Remove this for now. Just add an S, and we'll add the import the CSS file here. Okay. Now the sidebar button, if we this is coming here, okay, and it's coming under this. So we'll be requiring 5 sidebar buttons. The props that we are going to pass in this, we'll look at it later once we are creating the sidebar button. And at the end, we'll have another sidebar button that will be holding the logout button. Okay. So as you can see, this is coming all in one line, but we want it like the profile image at the top, the 5 buttons in the middle, and the next logout button at the very bottom. Okay. So for that, we'll require a property called justify content. So inside the sidebar container, we'll go here and write justify content. So justify content has many values, but we'll be requiring, as we need to separate them out, we'll require a property called space between. So it will see, now you can see that it is at the top, these are in the middle, and this is at the bottom. Now we'll go and create the sidebar button. Sidebar button will be having 3 things. First, a link to the certain page, a title, and an icon. Okay, so we'll be having all these 3 will be passed as props from the sidebar component. So we'll go to the sidebar component. We'll pass a title, a to, which will specify which path it will take us to, and an icon. Okay, so for this icon, we'll be using a library called React Icons. So this is a library to install. We'll just copy this and install this library. We'll press Command J to open the terminal and open a new terminal here. While it is being installed, let me show you what it does. So it has all these icon libraries and icons from all over these libraries. So we can simply just specify the name of the icon and React icon slash the library that it is using, and we can simply just put it there inside our project. So it's very handy, and it has a very vast collection of icons for us. You can simply search whichever icon you want to, like if you want to search for trending, then you can get all these icons. If you want to search any icon that you want, it will give you, and you can simply, if you go here, you can see AI. If you press on it, it will copy the name of it, and you can just, if you copy any icon, you can just write the name here, and the first 2 letters of that icon would be the library that is being used. So it's very simple to use it. It has already been installed. So since we'll be passing all the icons from this component, so we'll be importing all the icons here only. So I've already copied the icons that I'm going to import. So these are the icons that we're going to use. Let's quickly copy these props to all the buttons. So the first will be then the feed, and will take us to the feed route. You just have to mention the route that it will take us to and the icon. So the icon will be md space dashboard. Okay, so I'll quickly add it for all of these. Okay, now we have added all the props to all the buttons, so you can go into sidebar and you can take the props. So we'll be using the link component from the React router DOM to take us to different routes using our buttons. So that will be link. This link is being imported from the React router DOM, okay, and it has a prop called to. Everything that the button will have will go inside this link. We'll add it here. Okay. The link to will take us to the to prop that we are sending from the sidebar component. Okay. So if we go and check our website, now you can see these are all links. It takes us to feed. This takes us to trending. This takes us to player. This takes us to favorites. This is taking us to the library. Okay. The next thing is the title. So the our button will be having a div, and inside that div we'll have an icon. So we'll simply just render the props.icon and a p tag with the props.title here. Okay. As you can see, we have all the icons and along with them the title. So first of all, we'll get rid of this underline that is coming from the link, as it is basically an A tag. As you can see, whichever route we hover over, it shows us at the bottom. Slash favorites, slash player. Okay, so we'll get rid of that. We'll go to the sidebar button.css. We'll target the A. We'll do text decoration as none. Make it important. So the line is gone. Now we'll give it this a class name of button title and div a class name of button body. Take the button body here and give it a height of 60 pixel and a width of 60 pixel. Border radius of 20 pixel. Then the color of the text would be this. And obviously, since we would like to align everything to the middle, we'll give it a display text, align item center, and justify content center. So let's see what it looks like. Okay, so just like the previous time, we'll have to do the flex direction as column. So that's one and that's the other. Okay. Now we'll target this button title, and since it has a margin, every p tag has a predefined margin, so we'll just reduce it a bit. We'll do it 4 pixel, and on the sides it will be auto. You can see now It's a bit better than the previous one. Then we'll make the font weight as bold. The bold would be too much, I guess. Something around 600 will be fine. Yes, this looks fine. Okay. So the next thing that we are going to do is we'll have to increase the size of this icon. So to increase the size of a React icon, we'll have to import something called icon context from React icons. We'll have to go to the library icon context and then icon context dot provider. We'll have the whole thing under this, inside this. Okay. So this provider has a value prop, and this value will take the size. Okay, so we'll specify the size as 24 pixels, and it also takes a class name, so we can specify any class name with it. So let's give it a class called button icon. Okay. Let's see how it looks like. Okay, so it looks good, but I think there should be a little bit more space between these icons, and as you can see, it's the text is getting out of it, so we can increase the size of the button a bit because we have a lot of free space here. So we'll go here and we'll increase the height and width of the button to 80 pixels and see if it works. Okay, now all the text is inside it, so this looks good. Now we'll add a little bit of margin between these. Margin of 5 pixels top and bottom, and auto for the sides. Define. Yeah, looks good. Yeah, I think we can decrease the size of these titles a bit too because it's too much. So let's give it a font size of 12 pixels. This is a bit too small. We can go with 14 pixels. Yeah, this looks good. Okay, you can also add a bit more space between these icon and this, but I think this would do. Okay, now we'll give a bit of padding to the top and bottom of our main component so that this is not touching the top. So we'll go back to the sidebar.css and give our profile image margin top of 20 pixels. Yeah, this is fine. This is also fine. So the UI is done. So now we'll add the active functionality so that it tells us which route is currently active. To get that, we'll be using a hook called useLocation. So we'll search for useLocation. Hooks available inside the React router. We'll be going to use the useLocation. So the useLocation hook returns the location object that represents the current URL. Okay, so we'll be using this to tell which URL is currently active. So let's go to our code. Just above the import statement, we'll make a constant called location. We'll use location. This will get us the object. So the use location will be imported from React router DOM. Now this location can tell us. So we'll create a constant called is active, and this will be is equal if this will be true. It will be a boolean, and it will be true if location dot path name. This will give us the current path name is equal to the props dot to. So if the to part of the button that we have passed from the sidebar is equal to the current path name, then this is active would be true, else it would be false. So now whenever this is active is true, we'll have to add another class called active to this div. Okay, so how do we do that? We'll do constant. We'll create a constant called button class, and we'll check if is active is true. Then the class name will be button body and active. We'll add another class. Else it will be just button body. Okay, and in place of this class name here, we'll pass button class. Cool. So now we'll have to create that button active class here. So we'll go just under the button body dot active background color. We'll add a background color here. This will be the background color, and we'll change the color of the text to white. Let's see how it looks. So see, library is currently active. So the icon and the text is white and it has a background color. Since this is like the same color, same way, so we can increase the size of this a bit. So we'll add a transform and we'll scale it by a factor of 1.05. So it's a bit bigger. Okay, so now if you go to different routes, it will tell which route is currently active, and as you can see, it's increasing in size a bit. Next, I would like to add a hover effect. See, currently you cannot know that you're hovering. It's like a bit pale and the same color remains. So I like to change the color to the white whenever we hover over a icon. Okay, so I will go here and we'll target the button body, and whenever we hover over it, we'll add color as white. Okay, so now if you see, if we hover, it's changing to white. The next thing is that whenever you change the route, see that's just the color is being changed and it's going away, and it's scaling, and we cannot really tell it's scaling. So I'd like to add a bit of transition here so that you can tell that it's coming up from down and it's scaling a bit. Okay, so we'll go to the button body and we'll write transition. We'll target all transitions and give it a time of 0.2 seconds. And we'll give it a motion of ease. Okay, now if you see, there's a slight ease in animation coming here. Okay, it's not that hard animation anymore. Now the next thing what I would like to do is that whenever we change the route, this color should fade in and this color should pop out, like fade in fade out effect. So that's a bit I mean, it's a very easy thing to do. I'll simply copy this background color and give this button body a background color of 0.0 opacity. Okay, so what will happen is that initially our button body will have an opacity of 0. So the transition would be an opacity change from 0 to 1. Okay, so let's see. Now if you see, it's hard to see like that if I increase the time a bit, so then you can easily see this. So make it 0.5, then you can see how it's fading out and how the next color is fading in. Okay, you can keep it 0.5 also or 0.2. It's up to you. I'm keeping it 0.2 so that it's not taking much time in just the transition. So that's it. We'll quickly add the home body class to all the other screens also. I'm once again telling you all these quick and very quick suggestions that are coming are all from the Tabnine extension. It's available in the extensions part of VS Code. You can download it and it's very handy. So it will help you a lot. Okay. I'll add all the colors that I'm using inside the description, so you can use them. I'll also paste the link to the GitHub repo I'll upload all these files till here on that repo, and you can easily clone it or you can take a look for reference. Okay, so now let's take a look at how our site is looking. So if you see, all the screens now have the background color and the basic structure. Okay, favorite is not having it. Let's quickly see what is happening here. We'll go to favorites index, and okay, the N should be capital. It's a camel case. Now favorites also have it. Okay, so this is the end of this video, and as you can see, this is the site, this is the end product that we have. Okay, so I'd love to see you people creating this, and you can join my Discord channel and share your work. You can create all sorts of variation for this. Just use the basic principles that I just told you, and you can go wild with your own imagination. Okay, that's all for this video. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.